Can you make a film like Bahubali?
Please sir, please change sir. పాజ్ చేసి కెమెరా ఇక్కడ ఉంటుందా అక్కడ ఉంటుందా అట్లా చూసిన రోజులు ఉన్నాయి సత్య.
Especially animal. Threw all the so-called rules into the dustbin. Sandeep, can't be diplomatic.
I want all the critics to shut up.
I never thought of the commercial prospect. I was very, very excited to put it on screen.
After the stupendous success of Rangila, no filmmaker would dare to make a film in 2 crores with a new faces. That is RGV. Yes, one film.
సీన్స్ కి అడ్డంగా కథ వస్తే కథను తీసేస్తాను కానీ సీన్స్ తీనన్నాడు.
మణిరత్నం ఫిలిం ఇది రామ్గోపాల్ వర్మ ఫిలిం. లెట్స్ గో ఆన్.
There is no greater visual than an artist performing in a tight close-up.
Cut to a wide shot is always boring for me.
Shiva Arjun Reddy release on the same day. What do you think will work better?
Shiva.
Yeah, no. And now I think he's Ramgopal Varma ka baap.
సారీ మళ్ళీ ఒక ఊపు ఊపండి సార్ ఒక్క సినిమా.
నేను ఆ పనిలోనే ఉన్నాను మీ మీద ఒట్టేసి చెప్తున్నా.
ప్లీజ్ సార్.
Start with, I want to tell a small anecdote. So Sandeep, when I didn't see Animal at that time before the release, you know, and Rajmouli called me and said, recently at a function, I said Sandeep is a new age Ramgopal Varma, you know, and I said that. But now I just now saw the film. And now I think he's Ramgopal Varma ka baap. So the point is, I don't know. From after I saw the film, what I felt was, I think Shiva was still a kind of a little realistic film, but it pretty much followed a conventional format of a hero villain. Whatever, maybe done little differently in terms of the taking and etc. But I think your films, especially Animal, it just completely broke the convention and completely threw all the so-called rules into the dustbin, you know. So because of that, I truly believe what Rajmouli said is right. You are my baap. Yeah.
Good morning everybody. Sir, actually నేను ఈవెంట్కి వచ్చింది సార్ కోసం. అండ్ when they said there is a session, I thought like it will be nice sitting and talking to him. This is actually a dream. When I think back to Sarkar and company and Satya days, this is literally a dream, sitting with him, and sometimes I meet him at his place. I think sir, anything you say, I take it like an award, like a pride. Whatever you say, sir.
Yes. First of all, I don't think the word award and you go together in the context, because your self-confidence and what you think. I still remember when you told about that critic in Bombay, that fat guy, you know, I can't get over that. I think his entire 20-year career or 30 years, you destroyed in one line. You know. Anyway, coming to, because the point of this whole event is to talk about cinema. Some film institute students came to meet me some time back, you know. They're writers. They're doing a course in writing. And I asked them, so they were talking about the art of screenplay and how you write and how the progression should be made and what is has to be followed like a rule and this and that, you know. So William Byler, a very famous writer, was written Ben-Hur and all that. His thoughts are taken almost like a rule in cinema. Even now, even today, keep young filmmakers quoting him, his understanding of screenplay. He said, whatever you show in the first part of the film, there has to be a counter in the second part, you know. That is what which brings in totality. And second thing he said, no matter how good a scene it is, if it is not progressing the story, you should throw it out. And what you did, you threw both these into the dustbin. So I said, now apply your logic to Sandeep Vanga Screenplay, I said, whatever you learned in the last 2 years in your course, you know. Having said that, why I just would like to explain, maybe at some point of time, to a degree, there was a certain classical style or a tradition. I think now cinema is about expressing an individual's expression. Like Sandeep Vanga will express it in a certain way, which is projecting, and then it catches whatever people. Some critics might hate it, some critics might, the audience might love it. Then it's a question of the numbers of whatever. So my question is, when you thought in your head, I'm sure you would have told the story to maybe some people, some close people. Did it ever occur to you that this can go really wrong? Especially Animal, again, because that's your latest picture.
Sir, I narrated this to Ranbir and my brother. They loved it, sir. They said it's new and it might go wrong. Ante there are few questions where they felt inta prema indi father meeda ani. That might go wrong ani. If that goes wrong, everything goes wrong. Not only the second half lo screenplay dipodam pakka pedte. If the whole point of the sole point of the film is the love story between father and son, if that goes wrong, I said that everything will go wrong. Inka second half lo slow undadam dipodam logic adanta sir actually. మీరు చెప్తుంటే అది అనిపిస్తుంది సార్ యాక్చువల్లీ. నాకు అనిపించలేదు యాక్చువల్లీ.
ఇప్పుడు మనందరం కూడా ఒక హ్యాబిట్ ఏముంటుందంటే, మనం ఒకటి ఎన్నప్పుడు దాని తర్వాత కొంత టైం అయిన తర్వాత వీ స్టార్ట్ యాడింగ్ ఇన్ టు అవర్ హెడ్. మేబీ దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్, బట్ అవర్ ఇమాజినేషన్ స్టార్ట్స్ ప్లేయింగ్ గేమ్స్ అండ్ వీ ప్రాబ్లీ సే సంథింగ్. సో నాకు సందీప్కి జరిగిన ఒక కాన్వర్జేషను, ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పినప్పుడు ఇట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్ ఇట్ డిడ్ నాట్ హ్యాపెన్, బట్ ఐ ఫీల్ దిస్ ఈజ్ హౌ ఐ అండర్స్టూడ్ ఇన్ ద పాయింట్. అంటే నేను తర్వాత చాలామందికి ఈ చెప్పినప్పుడు సందీప్ యానిమల్ గురించి ఏమన్నాడో నేను కూడా కొన్ని దాంట్లో యాడ్ చేసి ఉండొచ్చు, విచ్ క్యాన్ బి రాంగ్ ఆల్సో. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫర్గివ్ మీ అబౌట్ మై వర్షన్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ వీ టాక్డ్.
లైక్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్?
నో, సో ఐ ఆస్క్డ్ సందీప్, యానిమల్లో Bobby Deol is the main villain. First half ki already the story is over because whoever attacked the father, he took revenge on them. And the second half starts off on something else, you know, for a long time before Bobby Deol comes. So I asked Sandeep, why can't you introduce Bobby Deol in the first half itself somewhere so that I will know that his character still has to be finished, so I will feel a continuation. So Sandeep said, Bobby Deol introduce చేస్తే సెకండ్ హాఫ్లో స్టార్ట్ అయిన తర్వాత ఒక 1 hour వేరే ఆ ట్రాక్స్ అన్ని అయితే ఉన్నాయో అది దట్ మైట్ నాట్ వర్క్, అందుకని నేను బికాస్ దే బి వెయిటింగ్ ఫర్ బాబీ డియోల్, అందుకని నేను చూపించలేదు అన్నారు. మరి అప్పుడు ఆ గంట ఎందుకు అసలు ఉంటాం ఎందుకు అన్న అంటే, నేను సీన్స్ నమ్ముతానండి. సీన్స్కి అడ్డంగా కథ వస్తే కథను తీసేస్తాను కానీ సీన్స్ని తీనన్నాడు. Sir, I have no clue whether you said it or not, but I am telling everybody, including now. So for me, I always believed it is the scenes which work, not so much the story. You know? So ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ ఏమడిగానంటే, ఆ ఫైట్లో సడన్గా ఈ పంజాబీ సింగర్ వచ్చి డాన్స్ చేస్తారు, అదేంటి, హౌ డస్ దట్ వర్క్ అంటే, ఫిల్మ్ విల్ వర్క్ ఎనీవే. అంటే ఎలా తీసినా చూస్తారు, అంటే ఎలా తీసినా చూస్తారు అంటే సందీప్ అది మిస్ఇంటర్ప్రిట్ చేసుకుంటే ఇప్పటికే మనకి 90% ఫ్లాప్స్ వస్తాయి, 110% వస్తాయి మీరు సీరియస్గా తీసుకుంటే. యా, సో బట్ దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్. సి ఫర్ మీ, అండ్ అగైన్ కమింగ్ టు ద ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ వన్ ఈజ్ అ screenplay about, how much do you think, see when I had one criticism for a long time, that the importance I give to the so-called taking shot division or how I move the camera or frame is of much more importance compared to what's happening in the script, in the story, in the performances and the content of the scene. So how much do you think taking matters?
Sir, when it comes to your films, whatever framing and the movement and everything, that itself is a story for me. That itself is an emotion for me. అంటే జనాలు ఫిల్మ్స్ చూసి ఇందులో స్టోరీ ఎక్కడుంది అంటారు. నాకు అర్థం కదా, క్వశ్చన్ ఎప్పటికీ అర్థం కాదు. బికాస్ వెన్ ఐ కమ్ టు యువర్ మీ ఫిల్మ్స్ చూసి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ బూత్, ఎస్పెషల్లీ దట్ డూప్లే హౌస్లో యూ ఆల్సో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ if there is no shot, if there is no thought behind the shot, then there's nothing behind it. So I think that criticism is not valid, sir. Because me shots say everything, sir. I mean, I think everybody will accept it. And one more thing I want to tell you all that, people say that you did a daring move, that inta dhairyanga ela rasavu animal. People say all that. I don't never took it seriously, but నేను చాలా మందికి చెప్పాను. ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ దిస్ ఇన్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫ్ యూ సార్ టుడే. ద మోస్ట్ డేరింగ్ స్టెప్ ఎవరైనా తీసుకున్నారు ఫిలిం ఇండస్ట్రీలో అంటే అది ఆర్జీవీ సార్. ఐల్ గివ్ యూ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. Example is after a stupendous success of after Rangila, no filmmaker would dare to make a film in 2 crores with a new faces. That's for sure. Satya, that's what, after Rangila sir, Satya teesaru kada. I think that is the most daring step any filmmaker could take. For example, ippudu nenu Animal tarvata if I go and do a film with new faces, nobody knows. That will be the daring step, sir, I think. So Animal రాయడము, అర్జున్ రాయడము డేరింగ్ స్టెప్ కాదు. నేను సార్లను పొగడట్లేదు, ఇది ఐ జెన్యున్లీ ఫీల్ దిస్ నేను చాలా మంది చెప్పేది, మీకు కూడా తెలియాలని చెప్తున్నా. యా, దట్ ఈస్ ఆర్జీవీ. ఎస్, మీకు నచ్చదు కానీ ఫ్యాక్ట్ సార్.
But I still didn't get one specific answer from you, because see, I'll give one more example. After Bahubali came, sir, from that time onwards, all the so-called epic VFX films and everything, and everybody thought without production values and huge grand scale of special effects, people are not going to come to the theater. And you started, of course, Animal much after Bahubali, much after, and you had a huge budget with you, and you had, of course, the biggest stars and all that. In spite of that, you only banked on the emotion and the performances. Like cameraman William Fraker said, there's no greater visual than an artist performing in a tight close-up. And that is what I thought Animal was. For me, the only thing I remember is Ranveer's close-ups, in terms of, they can't go out of my head. Whereas the most incredible VFX shot, spectacular probably in its, that remain in my head. And what remains is Ranveer's close-ups. So that I think is a very conscious, because you are such an intense person yourself. And you what emotion you feel is what you want to see as tight as possible. So there's no escaping. Is that what you realized when the films you grew up on in your teens, or whenever you're conscious about the film craft?
Sir, the importance of close-ups, frankly, I got it through a lot of Hollywood films, me films kuda, Mani sir films kuda, and I think that's a deliberate attempt, sir, because Naku personally, cut to a wide shot is always boring for me. So if you see Animalo, there are 2 wide shots. Entire film is in mids and closes. Adi deliberately chasing this, sir. And inkoti, it is so much character driven. I didn't want any loose ends in between. So I thought like keeping it tight will always engross the audience. It will be with them throughout the narration. That's a deliberate step, sir. Yeah. And getting Ranveer on the frame is like delight.
And not holding back on to make the point of the kind of the violence, the hacking of the thing or whatever. I find there more violence than 2 armies fighting, because probably one is because I invested my emotion in the character and I connect to the emotion of the character. Like whereas in a wide thing, when armies are fighting, it might just give a certain visual thing for some time, but it doesn't stay in memory. Like when I remember when I first narrated the story to Nagarjuna, he was shooting for this film called Agniputrudu, and I told him that scene when Naresh is coming from the theater, in the darkness, when he's hit from behind with a hockey stick, I said, I'll create more violence in that scene than entire horses running and this and that, bombs exploding. You know, because it is the cold-bloodedness of the hit. It is not so much about action. The fact that guy is smoking a cigarette very casually, yeah.
The impact is still same, sir.
Yeah. So the same thing when Ranbir comes in a different look, that low-angle shot, first time with a different look, I can't just get over that shot. It haunts me from the time I saw Animal, you know. So I think to be able to get something like that is, I feel, unless you on an individual level feel the intensity of it, you can't. But strangely, I feel when I see your interviews and all that, I never felt, you look very composed. Even when you call somebody a fat guy or somebody something, you say it very matter-of-factly. I never saw any anger in you. Maybe you reserve that for your characters, I don't know. So are you acting that you don't have anger? Or are you different from the characters you create?
అది మామూలుగా అనేసిన సార్ అది. Yeah, it was, I didn't plan for it actually. అది అట్లా అయిపోయింది సార్ అది. But I shouldn't have said that అనిపిస్తుంది అప్పుడు.
But I guess also because you already showed with the extraordinary success of your films, that anger is already taken out there only. Because when they see the figures, I'm sure they would have cried in their pillows. All your critics, you know. So there's no need to again express anger. The Chachin Pavan jumpinattu, you know, Chachin Pavan jumpinattu, Malli. So in the, what are your earliest influences in directors? When you first ever saw, you, like for example, I was most influenced by Steven Spielberg. I first time realized how the camera can be used as a narrative, just the editing, which are actually not real things. It's not music, it's not dialogue, it's not performance. Now, camera and editing are basically crafts of, you're using it to manipulate the audience's emotion. The highest art of that I found in Spielberg. Maybe it was started by Alfred Hitchcock, but I think it was perfected in Spielberg's films. So what was your, in your memory, the best influence of a director, or whether you heard the word director for the first time?
First, we heard about the directors, అంటే ఇది ఈ డైరెక్టర్ ఫిల్మ్ అని చెప్పి మా కజిన్స్ కానీ నేబర్స్ కానీ ఫిలింకి వెళ్ళడం స్టార్ట్ పెట్టింది మీ పేరు, మణి సార్ పేరు సార్.
Don't make me feel so old, man.
సార్ సీరియస్లీ, ఎందుకంటే శివ వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను శివ వరంగల్ జెమినీ థియేటర్ అని ఉంది అక్కడ చూసా. దాని తర్వాత నేను 4th స్టాండర్డ్ సార్ శివ వచ్చినప్పుడు. దెన్ బై ద టైమ్ గాయం కేమ్, ది సెడ్ ఇది రామ్ గోపాల్ వర్మ సినిమా. ఇట్ స్టార్టెడ్ గాయం, దొంగ దొంగ. బికాస్ when I heard about గాయం, then దొంగ దొంగ, I still remember my cousins telling me ఇది మణిరత్నం ఫిలిం, ఇది రామ్ గోపాల్ వర్మ ఫిలిం, లెట్స్ గో అని. హీరో పేరు లేదు ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ. సో జెన్యున్లీ that's how it started. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ ఫిలిం స్కూల్కి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత వేరియస్ ఫారెన్ ఫిల్మ్ మేకర్స్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఉండింది సార్. బికాజ్ నేను పుట్టి పెరిగింది వరంగల్లో కాబట్టి హార్డ్లీ ఎనీ హాలీవుడ్ ఫిల్మ్స్. ఇట్స్ ఐదర్ తెలుగు ఫిల్మ్స్ ఆర్ హిందీ ఫిల్మ్స్. హాలీవుడ్ ఫిల్మ్స్ లేదు సార్.
Tell me a few films of Hollywood, like very from early times. What do you think of Godfather?
Yeah, definitely, sir. Yeah. Godfather, Goodfellas,
okay,
and Shawshank Redemption, and one of all the top form films. Yeah, and specifically,
you don't have any specific director, specific kind of filmmaking.
Specific, I would say Goodfellas. Yeah, Goodfellas, and there's one film called One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. That's a fantastic film. That film had a lot of, I don't know what I learned, but there's a lot of impact in films.
Yeah, my belief is like in any film which has like outstanding performances is the only thing which people will remember. If you look at Godfather or Goodfellas or even Cuckoo's Nest,
yeah,
it's because of the performances. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir. And Most of your films also, sir. Most of your films. I mean, as I said in the recent thing that నేను ఎడిటింగ్ మీ ఫిల్మ్స్ చూసి నేర్చుకున్నా సార్ యాక్చువల్లీ. నేను అంటే సత్య ఫిలిం నాకు తెలిసి సార్ కూడా గుర్తుండదు కావచ్చు, నాకు అంత గుర్తుంది మొత్తం షార్ట్ టు షార్ట్. లిటరలీ సత్య చూసేటప్పుడు పాజ్ చేసి కెమెరా ఇక్కడ ఉంటుందా అక్కడ ఉంటుందా అట్లా చూసిన రోజులు ఉన్నాయి. సత్య మ్యూట్లో చూసాను నేను ఒకసారి. యా లైక్ సత్య ఈవెన్ కంపెనీ ఆల్సో సార్.
I will ask you one question.
Yeah,
I want
Satya.
you to answer immediately without pausing or thinking.
Yeah. On Satya?
No, not about Satya. Something else, you know. So I'm again saying you should answer it immediately without a pause, without a, yeah. Can you make a film like Bahubali? No.
I'll try, sir, maybe sometime in future.
That is not a correct answer. You should either say yes or no.
I'll try, sir.
Sandeep, that is not good.
No.
You can't be diplomatic.
Answer is no.
Okay.
I thought immediate answer.
Okay. Now he said no. But then my next question is, can you make a better film than Bahubali?
I'll try. I'll try, sir.
No, I will try. It's done. Answer is come. Okay. Yeah, superb. Okay.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
ఇది చాలా మందికి ఉన్న question. Sir, I know that you are in a different trip now. As I little know about you more. No, not like that. In a good way. Sir, ఒక్కసారి 3 నెలలు 4 నెలలు కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేసి ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ ఒక ఊపు ఊపండి సార్, ఒక్క సినిమా. వన్ ఫిలిం మీరు అనుకుంటే అవుతుంది.
నేను ఆ పనిలోనే ఉన్నాను అని మీ మీద ఒట్టేసి చెప్తున్నా.
వన్ సెకండ్, నాకు వినపడలేదు.
నేను ఆ పనిలోనే ఉన్నాను అని మీ మీద ఒట్టేసి చెప్తున్నా.
ప్లీజ్ సార్, చేయండి సార్. ఎందుకంటే సార్ more than anything I want all the critics to shut up. One film saying I don't want even them to write RGV's back. I want them to write RGV's RGV. ఒక్క ఫిల్మ్ తీయండి సార్.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I personally, I would never be able to make a film like Bahubali because neither do have the patience. It needs a lot of patience to spend that kind of time and all various things, and I'm more into characters and psychology. So, but I feel if you make a film in that context, I think the kind of character treatment and in terms of the uniqueness of how you design them, I feel it will be something else. That's my opinion. Whether, see, on a sensibility you might not be interested, or you might want to other films which interest you more. That is fine, fair enough, you know. But you doing that kind of a film will bring in a tremendous difference to that genre, is what I feel. And then salaha ivatledu, I'm just observing a point, you know. And in terms of when I always wondered whether if Arjun Reddy and Shiva come on the same day, what do you think will work better? No, if Shiva and Arjun Reddy release on the same day, what do you think will work better?
Shiva.
Yeah, no.
Seriously, sir.
Yeah. See, whether he wants to be diplomatic or trying to be respectful.
No, sir. Till date, I'm a fan of Shiva. When people say that, Shiva tarata ide film ante, nenu kuda anukunta, anta ledu ani anukunta, genuinely. So Shiva and Arjun rendu okaru vaste, I feel Shiva will work.
I don't believe that because I'll tell you, my opinion. See, Shiva was a very topical film in terms of the college violence and at that time the campus politics and all that. But Arjun Reddy, I think the character is more believable. Maybe It doesn't have the same heroism of Shiva, but I think the relatability of Arjun Reddy's character, I think, is far superior. And I didn't see anything cinematic in Arjun Reddy, which Shiva is full of cinematic treatment, I think. Yeah. So, for example, the whole build-ups of the chain breaking and all that, I find it, like if I look back on it today, I feel it's very silly, you know. But I didn't feel that at all in Arjun Reddy. Yeah. Because you created a character and the whole film was going around that in terms of its treatment. So he fascinates me, the character. I'm not sure that there is the same emotion when you look at Shiva.
Sir, I might not explain the way you are explaining, but I still feel chain snatching is the best commercial entry for a fight, yeah.
Maybe because I find that silly. Maybe that is one reason why I'm not able to make a good film now. Because I also forgot what the chain scene is. Yeah.
Sir, that is 30 years back, sir. 30 and years, sir.
What?
Shiva is 30 years back, sir. Yeah. Generally, this is a crowd కోసం కదా నా కోసం అడుగుతున్నా సార్ నేనే కాదు నాట్ గన్స్ అండ్ థైస్ సార్ రంగీలా తర్వాత genuinely, like what was your mindset to write and make Satya? Because big of pepper stars approach ayi untaru with budgets and all that.
What I felt, Sandeep, in fact, the background of Bombay, because I shot Rangila in Bombay, I used to be fascinated watching the locations, the Dharavi slums and things like that. And there was a huge underworld activity at that time. So I used to be reading in the papers and seeing pictures and probably meeting some people who are related to the gang world. So that kind of started growing at the time of Rangila. When I was shooting Rangila, the first seed of Satya came at that time. So I was eager to make that film because it reminded me of my understanding of Godfather. It reminded me of my very early days, Shiva and all that. So I never thought of it as I should make a bigger film than Rangila. Like, let me make a film with bigger stars and all that. Okay, like eventually, like you very well know, director is at heart a storyteller. You know? So when you did Arjun Reddy, you believe his performance as a character, you know? So Vijay Deverakonda became whatever he is post that film, you know? So for me, the very idea of underworld was a star. Just to make a realistic film on the underworld, for me, I thought of it as a star. So I never thought about whether it's a big film or I'm making it how much budget and all that. It never entered my head. I was just excited to make the film. Yeah.
So in comparison with what Rangila made in terms of box office, you never worried about how the box office numbers would be and how you would be judged as a filmmaker in new city again in Bombay. That was never your thought. You never.
No. In fact, I didn't even know whether it will work. I never thought of the commercial prospect. I was very, very excited to put it on screen. I mean, in the making of Satya, a lot of people told me people won't see such sweaty-looking faces, and there is no glamour and X and Y. That was what everybody was talking. But I was very captivated by the idea of the subject matter, the way I understood that at that time when I was making Rangila, with the meeting people, like I said, you know. So I remember by the time I made Rangila, already I was in the industry for the last 10 years nearly. I had this one line which I wrote in the end of the film. My tears for Satya are as much as for those who he killed.
Yeah.
So that is something I very strongly felt in my heart. So it was almost like me trying to tell this to somebody, in this case which happens to be the audience by using the medium of cinema. So my desire to tell what I felt about it was the most overwhelming emotion in me. I never ever thought about it as commercial aspect. Yeah.
I think that's why you could come out with always new genres. I think nobody has tried the way you tried, I think. You tried almost all genres, I think.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, sir, yeah. And sir, coming back to films like Satya and company, there are multiple star casts. Sir, I just want to know, curious, when you are making company, You gave a combined narration to everybody in a room, or like you individually you told them this is what it will be, and you excited everybody and got them onto the board, or you generally called everybody and narrated story?
No. I never did that. I never did that to any film.
You just
I
briefed
think
them personally.
in person. Like company, for example, obviously because Satya was such a big hit, and coming to the same genre, people were not even interested in knowing what I want to make. They just want to do it. Satya, many times I mentioned, but even till today nobody believes it fully. See, Satya, we never had a script. I just went by gut instinct, but I had clarity about the characters. I knew every character beforehand. So I thought we'll go, and the story happens because of a decision made by a character. So as long as I have a grip on the character, whatever I felt at any given point of time, I did it, and it made itself, the film.
So I think pretty much you applied that for company also, I think. For company also you applied that, I think, right? The decision made by every character is progressing the story.
Yeah.
I think that applies to company also.
Yes. Yeah. The difference is between Satya and company, I would say, is the difference between Godfather and Goodfellas. Satya being Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Because I have least craft I used in Satya, because I just let the actors do the job, and I kept the camera at eye level most of the time. A company is very strong compositions, and that style is different, which probably I use more of that in Sarkar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, one more thing I always wanted to ask you. నాకు సడన్గా గుర్తొచ్చింది ఇప్పుడు మీతో మాట్లాడుతుంటే. ఇప్పుడు when you write horror films, sir, how do you narrate the horror film? Because most of it is with the effects and the movement. For example, Ratri, the first shot, what we see, that's how you narrate? Or like...
See, I wanted to start my career with a horror film, actually. I was very keen about Ratri. Yeah. Now, Raat film, I actually used to narrate the opening scene. Every time I used to say the camera slowly, the bus comes and stops, and she gets down. The whole thing was narrated through camera movements. That is what I always do, in fact, even now, So I think with the expression I have, in the way I'm able to almost make the other person see the way it's happening.
So hardly there is anything on the paper for Ratri?
No, nothing. Yeah. So when someone told me, when I said that Raat is one of my best films, directorially speaking, and someone told me that you forgot the story in the point of the camera, I said, on the other hand, with that much of story, to make it like that is a much bigger, achievement for me, I said. And definitely I love making horror films because I love to scare people. So that is my primary.
You love to what?
I love to scare people. Yeah. When will you make a horror film?
Sir, I never thought about it, sir, but I want to. నాకు చేయాలనుంది actually. But I never thought about it. So
I think you'll make a fantastic horror film because it is just a shift from violence to horror is very, very thin. And I think Animal also has horror. Especially for Rajiv Masan. And the critics. Yeah. So what are the other genres you would like to dwell into it sometime?
Sir, I definitely want to do horror, sir. I don't know whether I'll do comedy, but horror though I don't want to do it. But I never tried, I never attempted one scene also.
Yeah.
I'll try, sir. Yeah.
And I observed something in your films. You were, probably I have that to an extent. You don't like to have big crowd scenes and too many junior artists of the whole thing. I find you a little uncomfortable in that. Even if I look at the Anil Kapoor's attack scene, which, it's like you want to get it over with. Because this has to be there, let it be. I can see an impatience.
100%. What is
it is never elaborate. It is not in detail. Yeah.
Majorly, I don't see a reason. If it is there also, it's very tough to control the junior crowd, sir, actually.
Yeah.
It's
and also because you're so precise about the expressions, a junior artist will never give the expression in his body language and all that. He can screw up the entire frame.
It is very, even the classroom crowd, నేను ఫోటోలు చూసి ఆడిషన్ చేశాను సార్.
Yeah.
Because regular crowd will not look like a classroom crowd. classroom crowd, general public ni పెట్టినప్పుడు background లో, that's a real tough task, sir, actually. And I can't get away every time, but when it is necessary, I have to take it and do it. Yeah.
How much importance do you think a story has in a film?
Sir, I feel I don't think so anybody would come to theatre to watch a story. I mean, I think it's majorly drama and emotion. Story will be there. I mean, like, అంటే ఇందులో కథ లేదు అని అనే వాళ్ళకి ఏం చెప్పలేం కానీ మామూలుగా see, there's a story of we both meeting and sitting here and talking also is a story. So if
see what I mean by that is I feel a film is like a person. When you meet a person, for some reason you take a liking. Maybe it might take a few minutes or a few hours or a few meetings, and you form an impression. So for me, in Animal, the moment this guy comes back with the machine gun, with that AK-47, I decided to love the film. After that, I didn't care whatever happens in the rest of the film. So that was my moment of liking the person.
Okay.
Similarly, I never connected to the story of Animal. For example, his love for his father is the last thing which affected me. I was constantly looking for the highs, and I believe that is which works in cinema. Story, different people will have different takes on it, directly going by their sensibility and their experiences in life. Like a person, you might be liked by someone, maybe not by someone. How many different people, depending on your relationship, they'll all have different views of you, and a film exactly happens in that way.
Sir, very rightly put, sir, actually. What you said is so true. But nobody could put it into words, as you said. Stories are like people, You meet a person, that's a story. That's so true.
Yeah. Like in Shiva, the first opening sequence, when these guys come in a car and this and that happened, and then a cut to that step freeze momentum with the music. I think the way the people reacted to just the end of the scene in the theater, I believe that they decided to like the film from that shot. After that, it is okay. Some scenes okay, some scenes good, some scenes better. But they made a fundamental impression on the film. So I believe story doesn't have any importance for the reason, when we see a film, we don't really wait for the film to make a judgment on it. We make judgment as the film is progressing, and we might lose interest even before the story is told to us, the full story is told to us, which is the reason I think the story is of least value. And its overemphasis, like William Friedkin, the director of Exorcist and French Connection, he said majority of the films fail because of the emphasis on the story. If you're creating highs constantly, like it can provoke you, it can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can make you feel some kind of adrenaline rush. So the number of times an audience will feel that emotion will be in direct proportion to the success. Emphasis on the story will do the exact reverse of it. He said that. I believe that.
So true.
So like I said, the only time I remember in the last 20 years or so, at least, if not more, I got up and clapped in the theater when that guy got the gun.
Superb.
I felt almost like a mass audience, sitting in the front. It is an idea. It is just a thought. It is, if it was a rifle, it wouldn't have worked. If it was a hockey stick, it wouldn't have worked. Only a machine gun, and I would have never taken a decision like that if in a sequence like that. So you don't know whether to laugh. Everybody laughed, but that is not because of the humor. The excitement of that particular thing, of just the way it entered, even if the scene started with a full figure of him carrying the gun, also it wouldn't have worked. Though the content will remain the same. That is what I'm saying.
This week, that shot, that particular shot of walking with a rifle moving to the face of the audience and going back, the to and fro moment, ideally worked than a solo person walking in a corridor.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
The impact would have been gone. I mean, that cut to that shot was actually worked. Sir.
So I don't know if you'll take this as a compliment or whatever. On my repeated viewings of Animal, all the times I fast forwarded the father scenes. So I don't know what to make of that, Because like I said, we pick our favorite things at the end of the day. And you might have done it for the emotion of the father and son story. I do not believe it worked because of that. At least for me. I can't speak for everyone. No. You might have done it for the father-son emotion, but I don't believe that is the reason it worked. At least not for me. Because I can't take everyone in general. Yeah.
I think it worked for the machismo of the character. It worked for the kind of character he is, more than the father love, as you said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that could be just a kind of which created that heist. A story is like a device to create heist, but not by itself. Yeah.